Jacob Zuma's MK party has been plunged into crisis, mainly due to what most people believed is as a result of over-desperation. What happened to 35 members of that party has left everyone in shock. Some people are laughing at them, believing what happened was caused by the members, while others feel bad for them and believed they should fight back. If you watch till the end, tell us if you support what MK party did or you have your own opinion against them. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. Tonight, the focus turns to the KwaZulu-Natal provincial legislature, where scenes of disorder captured on camera last month have now resulted in sweeping disciplinary action against one of the province's largest opposition caucuses. 35 members of the Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, out of a total of 37 represented in the legislature, have been formally sanctioned for their conduct during a chaotic sitting on December 15th. That day, proceedings descended into mayhem as the House attempted to debate a motion to remove Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli, a motion that ultimately failed, but not before order inside the chamber collapsed. The consequences of those events are now clear. The implicated members of the provincial legislature, or MPLs, have been suspended for 5 consecutive sittings without pay. The sanctions will take effect from January 12th to January 16th, 2026, a rare and significant disciplinary measure in a legislative environment built on debate, decorum, and constitutional obligation. The decision was formally communicated by the Speaker of the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature, Nontembeko Boyce, in a detailed letter addressed to Bonginkosi Mngadi, the MK party's chief whip in the House. That correspondence lays out not only the sanctions themselves, but the reasoning behind them, and it does so in stark, unambiguous terms. According to the Speaker, the behavior displayed by the majority of MK party members on December 15th crossed a line that could not be ignored. Video footage from inside the chamber showed lawmakers disrupting proceedings, defying instructions, and contributing to an atmosphere that made it impossible for the legislature to function as intended. Boyce made it clear that only 2 MK party MPLs, Inkosi Fathisizwe Chaliza and Ishana Barciela, were exempt from punishment, having not participated in the disorder. The remaining 35 members, she said, bore collective responsibility for the breakdown of order that day. Among those suspended are prominent figures within the caucus, including Mervyn Dirks, Imokus Moyo Mabatha, Bonginkosi Mngadi himself, Mampumi Gasa, and Dr. Zwelaki Mthethwa, among others. The breadth of the list underscores the scale of the incident and the seriousness with which it has been viewed by the presiding authority. In her letter, the Speaker categorized the actions of the MPLs as grossly disorderly conduct as defined under Rule 63(1) of the legislature's rules. She noted that members were repeatedly called to order and given lawful instructions to desist, but that these instructions were ignored. That refusal to comply, she argued, elevated the incident beyond a momentary lapse or heated exchange. Instead, it became a sustained act of misconduct that undermined the authority of the House itself. The Speaker's assessment went further still, linking the events in the chamber to the constitutional responsibilities borne by every elected representative. In language that reflects the gravity of the finding, the letter states, "The conduct is not only grossly disorderly and unlawful in terms of the rules of the legislature, but is prima facie inconsistent with a member's oath of office taken in terms of Schedule 2 of the Constitution, which requires members to respect, uphold, and obey the Constitution and the law." It is further recorded as an aggravating factor that the behavior further constitutes a violation of foundational constitutional values, including human dignity, equality, and non-sexism. Such conduct has no place in a constitutional democracy and represents a profound betrayal of the responsibilities entrusted to members of this House. Those words carry particular weight in a province and a country where legislatures are meant to serve as forums for robust but orderly debate, reflecting the will of voters through lawful process rather than force or intimidation. The sanctions imposed reflect that concern. A suspension without pay not only removes lawmakers from the chamber, but also sends a clear message about accountability. For 5 sittings, the affected MPLs will be barred from participating in debates, votes, and committee work, while their constituents go unrepresented by those individuals during that period. The timing of the suspension, set for January 2026, also places the issue firmly in the public record ahead of a new legislative year, a reminder that the consequences of December's events will extend well beyond the day itself. What remains notable is that the sanctions follow a process grounded in legislative rules, rather than political rhetoric. The Speaker's letter does not assign criminal blame, nor does it speculate on motive. Instead, it confines itself to conduct, rules, and constitutional standards, reinforcing the principle that behavior inside the House is subject to scrutiny, regardless of party affiliation. For the MK Party, the incident and its aftermath represent a significant moment. The party entered the legislature with a strong presence, and with that presence came heightened expectations around conduct and leadership. The suspension of nearly the entire caucus, including senior figures, raises questions about internal discipline and the challenges of translating political protest into parliamentary process. At the same time, the decision underscores the authority of the Speaker's office and the mechanisms available to preserve order. Legislative chambers are, by design, spaces of disagreement. But they are also governed by rules meant to ensure that disagreement does not descend into dysfunction. The events of December 15th disrupted that balance. The sanctions announced now are an attempt to restore it. For the public watching from outside the chamber, the incident may prompt broader reflection. What does accountability look like for elected representatives? How should legislatures respond when disorder overtakes debate? And where is the line between passionate opposition and conduct that undermines democratic institutions? Those questions are not answered directly in the Speaker's letter, but they echo through its conclusions. By invoking constitutional values such as human dignity, equality, and non-sexism, the document frames the incident not merely as a procedural breach, but as a challenge to the foundational principles of South Africa's democracy. As the suspended MPLs prepare to serve their sanctions in the new year, the legislature itself will move forward, its authority tested, but also asserted. The chamber will reconvene with fewer voices from one party and with a clear precedent now on record. This is not the end of the story, but it is a defining chapter, one that illustrates how quickly political tension can spill into institutional crisis and how the rules of democracy are ultimately enforced not through spectacle, but through consequence. For now, the message from the Speaker's office is unmistakable. Disorder has a cost, and the responsibilities entrusted to elected members carry obligations that extend beyond party loyalty or political moment. As KwaZulu-Natal's legislature looks ahead to its next sittings, the legacy of December 15th will linger as a warning, a lesson, and a measure of how constitutional order is defended when it is placed under strain.